Cross Kentucky Ranger. My mom, Marie, my sister, and my wife, they're here. So say howdy.
Hello.
Thanks again to all of the nice comments.
So let's start where we left off. He's getting ready to move in with the Campbell.
Yeah, I seen the ad in the newspaper and I got to thinking about that, and I know now how I called them because my neighbor had a telephone. So I went over and used my neighbor's phone. And I used a bus to get to where she was at. I mean, I don't know how I did it because even today I'm not a good traveler whatsoever. I get lost real easy.
How old were you when this happened?
I was 15, I think.
15.
Yeah,
So what was the ad for? What were they looking for?
a housekeeper.
Just for a housekeeper.
Yeah,
So you went, what, did you have to interview with them? Or?
yeah. I called them and set up an appointment. So I went over and I lied to her. Told her I was 16 because she wouldn't have hired me, I don't think, if I told her I was 15. Because back then, and even now, I guess, when you're 16, you could quit school.
Right. You can't do that now. I think you have to. Is it 18? I guess. They raised
I'm
the
glad.
age.
I'm glad
Yeah.
because that was.
But back then, they didn't need it. Even though they had that law in effect, there's a lot of kids didn't go to school back in the days.
Right.
But
They weren't tough on the parents.
no, they are now. Lord, they'll
Yeah.
put you in jail if your kid misses too
Yeah,
much school.
really. But I went over and she said that I was hired, so I started. I moved in, started working for her, and I was supposed to get $17.50 every 2 weeks.
Right.
And at first, she did pay me that, and I got the weekends off,
Right.
where I'd go visit my mom and sisters and brothers. And then all of a sudden, she quit paying me. So I didn't have the money to do anything.
Did you confront her about it?
No, because I was too backwards. I didn't dare say, hey, where's my money?
So while you were living there, did you continue? Well, I guess you couldn't continue school. So you just said, I'm sorry, you dropped out.
Yeah, but I'd
I
have
know
to
you
have
said at
it.
16 you could drop, so but you had to drop out to do
Right,
work with them.
right. But she taught me an awful lot. I got to hand it to her. She would sit down and have me read to her, and we'd discuss things, and she gave me quite a bit of information.
So what kind of things did she teach you?
Well, first of all, she started enrolling me in all of these different religions, really. Mary Baker Eddy was the first one.
Mary Baker who?
Mary Baker Eddy.
Scientology? No, wait a minute.
No, I don't know if
Scientology.
that still exists or not. I don't
That's
know.
okay, I'll Google it. There'll be something on here.
Yeah. But I went to
So
the
that-
Catholic Church for a while, and there was another one, and I can't remember which one it was, but they didn't believe in going to doctors.
That's
Scientology's
Scientology.
like that.
Yeah.
I didn't think Scientology made its rounds till the middle 50s or late 50s,
Yeah.
didn't it?
I really
Well,
don't
yeah, I
know.
guess that would have been the right timeline
Yeah.
because you were about the middle 50s, right?
Yeah. But
So
she would teach me about
Mary Baker Eddy was the founder of Christian Science.
Christian Science.
Okay,
Yeah,
Christian
okay.
Science monitor. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
But anyway,
L. Ron
she.
Hubbard, I think.
L. Ron Hubbard, he wrote a book called Dianetics,
Yeah.
and that's where Scientology comes from.
But anyway, she would talk to me about politics, but it was interesting, and she started raising Boston Terriers, and I had to take care of them. And she started writing a book
What'd you write a book
about it was all about dogs.
Well,
And she had subscribers clear in California. I mean, it was quite successful. See, her
so it
husband,
wasn't one big book. What was it like?
a
Pamphlets
little,
or
yeah.
little how-to books or?
Well, people would put ads in there about
Must
their
have been a
dogs.
magazine.
Oh, so
Yeah,
it's
a
like
magazine.
It's like a little, like a penny ad magazine or
Yeah.
something, whatever they call it.
Yeah,
Well,
and
but it was for dogs.
Yeah.
Dog owners.
yeah, dog owners.
Like a breeder's magazine kind of thing. Or
I think it was mainly for Boston Terriers. But people could
Yeah.
put ads in there for sale or
See,
they
they
wanted to
didn't have
buy.
Facebook back then, so they had the.
Yeah, and see, her husband worked for a newspaper, and he knew how to lay all that out.
Yes, he printed for it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but it
That
was,
probably cut their printing costs down a lot if he
Yeah.
was running a newspaper. Because he
Yeah.
could probably produce the magazine and just use it as a write-off for his
right.
taxes.
But I learned quite a bit while I was there. But she got to really abusing me. I mean, I had to. She said that she was sick and had to stay in bed all the time, and I had to
Right.
bath her and learn how to change the bed while she was in it. And so that was a learning experience too.
How many years did you stay there?
7.
So in that 7 years, did you have any friends or any kind of a social life? Or
Not really until my sister was dating her husband at the time, Richard. And so they started coming over on the weekend and picking me up and taking me out.
Well,
And bless his heart, he had a date with my sister. And my sister would make him come
get you.
to come and get me so I could go out and
Which shows what a nice guy he is.
Yeah, and you know he's still alive, and he's almost 90.
Well, he had, didn't he? He had a kidney removed.
He lived from the time he was, I think, from the time he was about 19 years old. He
Wow.
lived on about a quarter of a kidney.
I should say till now because he's still here.
Yeah. And the doctor told him to drink a beer every night,
One beer a night.
and he did. And he's still here
Well,
on that quarter of a kidney.
so in all that time that you was living there, I mean, what else was she teaching you? Like, did she teach you how to cook, or did you
Oh,
already know
yeah.
how to cook? Or?
Oh, I'll never forget. This was so funny. She decided to teach me how to bake rhubarb
Rhubarb.
pie. I forget now what else it was in there. But she would lay in bed and holler out the directions.
Lord.
So I was doing pretty good, and so she told me 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt,
Right.
and I thought she said 8
teaspoons.
teaspoons.
Oh my God.
So I put 8 teaspoons
Oh.
of salt. So it turned out beautiful. I mean, it looked so good. So they cut into it.
Oh Lord.
That was so funny. They said, well, she didn't get mad.
I was going to ask, did she get mad at you?
No, that was surprising. She didn't.
That reminds me of the time me and Sheree, you all was out playing, I think, and left me and her at home alone. And of course, I mean, she was old enough to take care of me. I think she was, what, about 12 or 13?
I was
We was
16.
16, yeah.
We decided we was going to make divinity.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Now, what was it? I think
It
it was
took,
called for like a quarter cup of Cairo syrup or something. And
no, it was sugar. It took like 4 cups of
oh, whatever
sugar.
it was.
But anyway, the cup was a 2-cup measuring cup.
Yeah,
So
she
I put,
filled.
so I put twice as much
Yeah.
sugar in it.
Oh, God almighty.
It was horrible.
It cooked, and then we got right in the middle of it. We had to run to the neighbor because it took Cairo syrup. And I can't remember. I think we goofed up on that too.
I goofed up on
But
the
it
whole
was just
thing.
it was a big old glob of white guts.
So we decided freezing it would make
Yeah,
it taste better.
Lord, we probably wasted what, $40 worth of sugar and Karo syrup and whatever else it took.
Right to this day, I can't
Confectioner
stand
sugar,
it.
I can't remember it. Basically, divinity, I guess it's nothing but just sugar, just pure. But anyhow, I digress. We'll get back. Let's go back to the cannibal.
That's
So, while you were living there, were you allowed to, like, did they have television or did you
Yeah.
watch TV? or-
Yeah, I would go in. See, I would have to cook dinner for them,
Right.
and they had a folding table I'd set up
Mhm.
in the living room for them and set the table and carry their food in there, and they would eat, and then I'd clean the kitchen, and then
Were you allowed to eat with them?
no.
Well,
Uh,
were you allowed to eat the same dinner? Or did
Well,
you have to
yeah,
make your own?
yeah,
But you
no,
weren't allowed to sit at the table.
right.
Okay.
But anyway, well, there's no room with the card table.
Right.
But anyway, we'd go watch TV. I remember the Ed Sullivan Show, and
I've got a question. Why didn't they have a regular dinner table?
they did.
Her bedroom. I
But-
was thinking, so you had
oh.
to set the table in her bedroom
No,
because she couldn't get out
at
of
the
bed? or-
TV. Yeah, she could get out.
Oh, she was just. Oh, so they wouldn't eat dinner at the dinner table. You had to set the
Right.
card table up so they could watch TV while they were eating.
Right.
Oh, okay. Now
That
So-
makes
that
sense.
clicks now.
So when I would get through, I'd go in and sit with them and
Right.
watch
You know, I remember.
Jackie Gleason's show. And,
Right. I
Honeymooners.
remember it seemed like kind of a thing back in the 50s as televisions came on like rolling stands where you could roll them around and people would like roll them into the dining room so they could watch TV while they were eating.
well, they had a floor model.
Oh, see, that's why you had the.
It was
set
black
card
and
table.
white.
Right.
I didn't know they had floor models that far back.
Yeah, they
Oh,
did.
Lord, yeah.
I mean, because the screens was so little and stuff, I thought that all the TVs were like little.
Well, even though they were small, they were heavy. Screens
Well, I
heavy.
think they had an 18-inch or
Yeah.
20-some-inch, whatever. But it wasn't tiny. It was
I think the standard screen even back then was 25 inch. That was
maybe
big.
that's what it was.
That was pretty much the standard big screen TV.
Yeah, because
Lord, now they got them, what, 100 inch? I guess the sky's the limit. They got the
I
projection
don't like
TV.
those great big screens.
Yeah, Lord have mercy.
A lot of people don't know what the black and white TVs are. But
Yeah, a lot of the younger generation, you'd say black and white TV. You mean the TV was painted black and white? No, the picture
The
was
picture,
black and white.
Yeah.
Oh, and another thing, it seems like we had one. You remember the sepia tone TVs?
Yeah.
They claimed it was easier on your eyes.
Yeah.
That was awful. It was
Yeah,
like,
the Campbells had one of those.
yeah, it was like yellow looking,
Yeah.
goofy. Good Lord.
I went and picked theirs out for them.
Well, what, the sepia tone TV?
Yeah, and it was the floor model. So.
But, yeah, and I remember another thing that they had back then was if you had a smaller TV, you couldn't afford the big one. You
Right.
could get this big fisheye lens kind of thing that you could put over the
Yeah,
screen to make
that
it
was
bigger.
no good. That
It was a
no
Fresnel lens. And
Yeah, those were no good.
anyhow, I'm gonna
These
I'm
these
gonna
young
pop the
kids have
pictures
no
up in
clue
the
what you're
corner of this
talking about.
Video, because there's people in there that are watching this right now, scratching their head. Fresnel lens, sepia tone TV. What are you talking? Black and white TV? What is this? Oh, that was back. They didn't even know what a VCR was.
No, heavens no.
Whatever you were watching was live. In fact, even
Right.
the show you were watching was live.
Right. Yeah.
Everything happened then, just like
Yeah.
daytime soap operas. That was all.
My favorite was the Carol Burnett show. Oh,
Right.
that was so funny.
Well, that you're
What's
getting
still
ahead of
is.
yourself.
Still is funny. Red Skeleton.
Yeah.
You're going up into the 70s now.
Yeah.
time machine.
Yeah.
What else kind of things did she teach you, like as far as cooking and stuff? Is there,
Well-
like a favorite recipe that she? Cause I know you can. I love your chicken and dumplings. Lord,
Yeah,
my mama cooks chicken and dumplings like nobody else. It's so good.
well,
Lord
thank
have
you.
mercy.
What were you doing when you was melting that paraffin that time?
Oh, I was, she taught me how to can, and I made jelly.
Uh-huh.
And I had, it was grape jelly, because they had a grape barber outside. And I had picked the grapes and done everything you're supposed to do. Put the jelly in the jars. And so I was put a pot on the stove with the paraffin in it,
Uh-huh.
and she hollered for me. So I left that on the stove, and by the time I got back, it was in flames.
Oh,
So I panicked, and I started to go outside with it. Well, the wind was blowing, and it would have blown the flame right back in my face.
Lord.
So I put it in the sink and poured water
Oh
on it,
no.
and it blew up and caught the curtains
Oh,
on
my
fire. Thank God that Mr. Campbell was home at the time, and he came and threw water up there. And
I tell you what. Speaking of that, one of the YouTube personalities that I watch, Mark Fun Jones.
Mhm.
He just seriously burnt both of his hands.
Oh.
They were deep frying funnel cake a couple
Oh
of nights ago,
dear.
and he forgot to turn the burner off on the stove.
Oh.
And when it dawned on him, he went running into the kitchen. It was almost to the point of catching fire, and he grabbed the pot and was going to throw it out the back door, and it got on his hands, spilled on his hands. So he's doing bad. So
Oh, bless his
we'll all,
heart.
say a prayer for him, because he's worried right now how he's going to take care of his family and stuff. That story just kind of triggered that.
Oh dear. Well, I learned a valuable lesson out of that too. I
Grease
learned
fires,
you get a
wax,
lid,
or grease, wax, anything hot like, don't ever put water on
but
it.
if you get a lid and smother the,
You have a lid.
then
Simple
it would
thing,
be
if you got
okay.
a pot, like you're cooking with grease on the
right?
stove, do it in a pot, you have a lid, and have a lid right there.
Yeah, I was.
Another thing that you need to put right next to it, if you don't have a fire extinguisher, is a box of baking soda.
Mm.
But
Well,
then-
I found if you put a lid over it, you smother out
Oh,
the
it's
flame,
done,
and
yeah,
it's
it's no
gone,
deal.
and you can.
Yeah, it's the simplest thing in the world. Is that way it'll never catch on fire.
Right,
And if it is on fire, it'll smother the fire.
right.
But yeah, I didn't mean to go into that. But yeah, he's. If y'all haven't watched his channel or you're not
Bless his
subscribed to
heart.
him, go, because he's funny. He's an artist. He
Well.
paints these really cool paintings of different YouTube personalities.
Yeah. Oh dear.
But
Well,
yeah,
my
he's
prayers
at home
go out
recovering.
for him.
Yeah, he's at home recovering right now.
Oh, bless his heart.
So.
But anyway, to
I'll
get
tell you
on.
what, Mark. When my mom prays, she prays hard. So you're gonna be okay now. Because you got my mama on the case.
And my daughter, she'll pray.
Yeah,
She
she'll
will.
pray. We all
And
pray.
my sister-in-law, Carla.
I pray
Lots
too
of,
every
and
once
my
in a while.
son.
Your
all three.
daughter-in-law.
Huh?
Your daughter-in-law.
What'd she say, sister-in-law?
Oh, I meant my
That's
daughter-in-law. Well, I've got a sister-in-law, my sister-in-law Pat.
Pat, yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting okay. So, is there anything other than that? I mean, it was just kind of a daily deluge of making
Yeah, I had to
breakfast
grocery
and lunch
shop.
and dinner and grocery
Did you have a-
shopping.
Did you have a bedroom?
Yeah, it was down in the basement.
Yeah, we talked about that on the first
Yeah.
video.
Oh, that's
I don't
right.
really want to go into
No,
too much
it's
of what
no, it's
overlap what we did the first video.
no. But anyway,
But anyone that hasn't seen that, they have
Yeah.
a room down in the basement.
right. But it was okay. I had a dresser and bed and everything. But anyway, I was getting up in age now, and I knew it. I had to get away from them, and so I was afraid of them because you know when you're a teenager.
Oh yeah, it scared you to death.
Yeah,
well, you
but-
lived with them for 7 years.
Yeah.
That was your home.
So I met this guy, and which was a nice guy. He really was. But I told her that we got married
Right.
and that I'd stay there till she got somebody else. Well, she got this girl, and I begged this girl, please stay until I get out of here. So she did. And so
Lord have mercy.
that's when I left there, and we got this apartment. And
You and
that's,
this guy.
yeah,
Okay.
and that's where I met your dad. So if you want to cut it
You
off
know,
there
that's-
for
yeah, that's
another
good.
time.
That'll be the next.
Yeah, the next
we'll get into
episode.
how you
Yeah.
met our dad.
Yeah.
And, or my dad. Well,
Yeah.
our dad.
Yeah.
Sitting here, so that's a good wrap up point.
Yeah,
It's been a good half hour.
yeah,
I don't want to get these too long.
yeah. No,
But,
15 minutes is long enough.
Anyhow, God bless everybody. Appreciate everybody tuning in. And tune in next Monday to see what happens next.
Bye.
God bless. Mark Fun Jones, you get better. Okay. And we'll talk to y'all later.